Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Almaguer, and I love to talk about relationships, especially the relationship that you have with yourself. Today, I want to talk about what it's been like after almost 3 years of being divorced, and what do I think about codependency. Before I get into that, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and come say hello to me on Instagram. Okay, so there are two things that I'm going to talk about in this video is where I'm at now after almost 3 years of getting a divorce, my second divorce, and what do I think about codependency. All of my videos are based off of experience and my spiritual growth, and I'm here to help anyone that was me in on the other side, because when I was going through a really tough time, I was constantly on the internet searching for answers on how to heal and how to find my true love and what is self-love and how to heal after divorce. It was so crazy. It was so difficult. And it's actually kind of amazing that I'm even saying what I'm saying to you now, because before I was really lost and really confused, and it was such a very painful time in my life. So where am I at now after almost 3 years of being divorced? Well, let me tell you that for me, after I got divorced, it actually got worse than it got better. It doesn't mean that it's going to be worse for you. The reason it was worse for me is because I was a codependent. I didn't know that I was a codependent. See, I had to figure it out after I got divorced. And I figured it out after analyzing my behavior and why I kept running into from bad situation to the next bad situation. And I had to stop pointing fingers and really take a hard look at myself in the mirror and ask, who's the common denominator? And of course, it was looking straight at me in the face. The way it got worse for me after a divorce was that I didn't have a good relationship with my feelings. I was always running away from my feelings, and I saw negative feelings as bad, and any negative thought, any anger, any frustration, I couldn't deal with it. I felt like I was being a bad person for even feeling those feelings, because I considered myself a positive person, a spiritual person, and I didn't want to associate myself with any negativity. However, I was oozing a negativity. Why was I oozing a negativity? Because I didn't allow for anything to be released within me. I was holding everything in. I was suppressing so many emotions. And basically, I was running away from myself. I didn't know how to fully and completely accept who I was. And so where am I now? I'm so much better. I'm living such a good life. I'm so happy. And I can't even believe that I'm here telling you that I'm so happy on my own. I'm so happy that I'm not picking up the phone and calling my ex-husband anymore, angry or upset or wanting to work things out. Like, I've already been through all that. I'm not doing the back and forth thing. We never actually did. And I did the back and forth thing in a relationship that I jumped in right after. It was the back and forth thing, the power struggle. It was a very messy thing. And so I really bring up the going back and forth, like not really being able to cut the cord when your relationship ends. And it doesn't matter that, like, part of my story is a little bit with my ex-husband, but he was really great at cutting it off with me, and I have so much respect for him because he really stood his ground. I was such a toxic person at the time, and so then I found my next teacher, because this is all a spiritual life, right? We are having a human experience. Everything that we are experiencing is to help us reach higher levels in our own spirituality and our own spiritual practice. And a lot of times that comes with hardships and overcoming the hardships and getting to higher levels and to harmony and to peace within yourself is really learning how to tune back into who you are and really figure out who you are, and start answering those questions like, why am I behaving this way? Why am I getting jealous? Why do I feel so insecure? Why do I feel like I have to control the person that I'm with? Or how come I can't fully let go of my ex, even though I know it's toxic for me, even though we both know that this isn't good for either one of us? We continue to go back. And so the only person you have control is over yourself. And it's, if you have started asking yourself, or like you have this awareness of your own behavior, like, wait a minute, I know this is bad, but you keep doing it. And the reason why you keep doing it, and I speak for myself, is because it's habit. You're in this habit, this old programming, this old way of thinking, of functioning, and thinking that you're doing things the way that you're supposed to do them. But have you actually stopped and asked yourself, am I doing things this way because I've always done it this way, or is it because it's right? And the way you find out if it's right for you, the way I was able to find out if the way I'm living my life right now is right, was through heartfulness meditation. I finally got to a point where I learned how to just silence my chaos. Now, when I want to be very careful whenever I say I silence my chaos. I don't want you to think that I was able to completely stop my thoughts, because that's the thing about meditation that a lot of people have a hard time. Like, I have such a hard time because I can't stop my thoughts. Well, that's not the point. The point isn't to stop our thoughts. It's to become aware of our thoughts. And focusing the divine light that's within our hearts is really shifting the focus there. So you can have the thoughts that you're going to have. We're human beings. I mean, we're going to have thoughts. And it's just gently acknowledging the thoughts as you just watch them, just, okay, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your thoughts, and then redirect your focus to the divine light in your heart. And those thoughts are going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. But the longer you sit with yourself in silence, and the longer you have to just choose. You have to decide that you need answers, and you need to connect with divinity, and you need cleansing. You need a whole reboot of your life. That's where I was. That's what I needed. Like, I was so incredibly desperate. I was in such despair when I went through my divorce. And then I experienced even harder times after my divorce, because I was jumping into other relationships, trying to numb out the truth of my codependency. And of course, like, it was horrible. Like, the relationships, they were designed to teach me to go deeper within myself, because I kept trying to find love and validation from outside of myself. And I did it the way I've always known how to do it, which is get a boyfriend, get a husband. They're gonna make you feel important. They're gonna make you feel like you're worth something. Like it sort of gives you purpose and meaning. That's for me, right? Everything that I say, it's all coming from my experience. I'm no expert. I'm just a human being that has experienced a lot of spiritual growth, and it came in the form of loss in relationships, through divorce and breakups. And so now I sit here today, almost 3 years after getting divorced. And like I said, it got worse before it got better. And if you would like to know what other challenges I face, please leave me a question in the comment section. I have so many trials that I have gone through in this topic that I just can't sit here and talk about every single one of them. But just know that I'm here to answer them. I really care about your healing. I really want you to continue to make strides in the right direction. I did it. I know you can do it, and it's all about helping each other out, right? Like, I only share my experiences, but I also know that you are on your own spiritual journey, your own life path. And sometimes you just have to learn it yourself by experiencing whatever it is that you have to learn. I can sit here and tell you, love yourself, find yourself, believe in yourself, and draw your boundaries, and don't pick up that phone and call your ex, and don't go out on that date. Like, I can tell you all day long the do's and don'ts based on my personal experience, but at the end of the day, maybe you do have to pick up that phone one last time to get that slap in your face all over again. Not physical abuse, right? Like, please get help, or like, not that. I'm like metaphorically speaking, a slap in the face. For you to finally wake up, right? Sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we just need to hit rock bottom to finally come up. And so just know that it does get better. Just know that if you feel like you've hit rock bottom, it's just going to get better from here. And if you feel like the worst hasn't happened yet, then know that you are never given anything that you can't handle. Know that you are stronger than you believe. You have to, man, I say this with every cell in my body. I say this with so much passion, because I remember losing it. I remember going to work while I was trying to heal, and my whole world revolved around the trauma that I was experiencing through this divorce and my codependency issues. And I remember that I would wake up and that would be the first thing on my mind, and throughout the entire day, that's all I thought about. And I was at work, and when I would get off of work, I would drive home and I would be crying. I would be like yelling, crying on my way home. And I remember as soon as I got home, all I wanted to do was keep crying and go straight to bed. So I had those moments where even like my kids had to see that. It was very difficult. I didn't have the energy to cook. Thankfully, I had my mom at the time that really helped me out during that very difficult time. And I really felt like I was dying. And metaphorically speaking, the old me was dying. And that's why it's so painful, because life is leading you in the direction of how you need to grow, and where and what areas of your life you need to grow. And the more we resist it, the more we say we don't want that change, the more we want to hang on to the past, the more difficult it becomes. You're supposed to just let it go. The greatest act of love is being able to let go of someone that you love. Freedom, that's the greatest act of freedom. If you love that person, try to disattach yourself from that person, and start looking at life and what you're going through and your relationship through spiritual eyes. Like, what is this trying to teach me? I should try to get to a place of love and compassion, and being able to let go of someone that I truly love. Because when you're trying to hold on to someone that you love and it's just not working out, it's just leading you into more suffering. And that's not what you want. You want to heal, right? So you'll figure yourself out. You will figure out your own journey. The thing that I can tell you that helped me out a lot, and I'm so grateful to be able to even be talking about this right now, is I surrounded myself with people that loved me, and people that would listen to all of the things that I had to say, how confused I was, how sad I was. And also, I went to a church, a divorce recovery group. I hired a life coach. I went to a therapist. I did everything you could possibly think of to heal myself. And so now it's been almost 3 years, and I feel like I've been to hell and back maybe 3 times since then. And I can now say in 2020, even in the midst of all of this craziness that we're all experiencing, a lot of this uncertainty. So my outside world is a little chaotic, right? Like everything that's happening. But my inner world is very much at peace, finally, because I was always in search of my true love. Who's my true love? How come relationships just don't seem to work for me? I keep getting divorced, and I keep meeting guys, and it just doesn't work out. And it's funny because I've been told this several times, like, oh, Jen, you're so beautiful, you can have any guy you want. And I'm just like, life just isn't like that. It hasn't worked out for me. And I'm not saying this to feel sorry for myself or anything. I'm really grateful for every single experience and every single heartbreak. And I never thought that I could say that. And now I just see the bigger lesson behind everything. When I was chasing guys, or my boyfriend that started ghosting me, or all that I had experienced dating after getting divorced, the more I wanted someone to love me and validate me, my soul picked the right person, the right person that was going to lead me back to myself. And so if I had found the right person at the time, right? Let's just pretend. He would have paid a lot of attention to me. He would have been very giving. He would have been like what every girl wants, right? Like to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to want to spend quality time. Like if he was the right person, then I would have gone back to my old ways of codependency. Like, my hero, my savior, life is going to be good now. I can now finally be happy. Well, no. Like life said, I know exactly what you need, Jen. You need someone that's going to ignore you, someone that's going to tell you everything that, at the beginning, they're going to tell you everything you want to hear. They're going to hook you, and then they're going to toss you in the trash. They're going to hook you because this is exactly the person that is going to teach you this lesson that you need. And now, then after this person did his job, he was one of my greatest teachers. Like these experiences, these men, these guys that I've dated and that I've been married to, they've been my greatest teachers, and I bow down to them and I thank them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of the lessons, all of the experiences, because this whole time, life has been trying to answer the question that I have been asking for more than a decade. Who is my true love? When am I going to find my true love? When am I going to be happy? When do I get to rest? And well, I've been looking at that person every single day in the mirror, and I haven't been able to recognize that person. And so what better way to figure that out than through dating and trying to find the one. And you guys get my drift, right? And so what do I think about codependency is that I think it's a continuous journey of digging deep within yourself and digging deep to really find out who you are. And what that encompasses is your childhood. Really start to dig deep into your childhood And there's a lot of really great prompts, journal prompts, that I used with my life coach, and I can totally direct you guys to those prompts, to the book. It's called Creating Within. If you go to creatingwithin.com, you can find all those resources. I want to say that the book is probably like $9 if you get the PDF, and maybe maybe 18. I don't know. And if you want the hardcover, it's like $40. It's super affordable. And if you're in the situation where you can't afford a counselor, or you're like a little iffy about going to a therapist or a counselor, then just work on yourself. And the way you're going to work on yourself and do your own self-healing and therapy is through really connecting with yourself. And so how do you connect with yourself, right? You talk to yourself, you write to yourself, you just write, you journal. There's different topics, different angles to really get down and deep and look at your shadow side. And there's just so much that you can learn from yourself and who you are. I'm also a really big believer in reading scriptures, and also for me, I've been reading the Bhagavad Gita and a lot of stories about Jesus and what Jesus has done. I have such a strong and personal relationship with Jesus. He's my love, and I've just grown so much, and he's always been guiding me. I'm just so open to love and spirituality, and like I said, I love Jesus. It's a very personal thing. You believe what feels right for you. That's not what I'm here to do. And so it comes to a point where you have to really, really dig deep. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, we can read scriptures. We can read the Bible, we can read the Bhagavad Gita, you can read all sorts of beautiful texts out there that have been written for the purpose of us healing. But it's not until you start to experience those scriptures in your life. And I can tell you from my experience that what has been very powerful for me is when I do read some of the Bhagavad Gita, and I see what Arjun and like his relationship with Krishna. Arjun is a regular, human. He's a human being on earth, and he's about to go to battle, and he has these conversations with Krishna, which Krishna is the divine. And so it's such a beautiful a book of filled with so much wisdom that you can literally apply a lot of the stories into your life and do a lot of self-reflection. And that's a good guide. That's a good way for you to start asking yourself deeper questions. Also, alongside with the Bible, I know I've read a lot of scriptures that have helped me out, and then I do some self-reflection. So it's just not enough. It's not enough to read. This is totally my experience, my opinion. It's more like you want to dig deeper into really getting to know who you are. And so that's by reading and then asking yourself, where am I at with this? How do I feel about this? Do I believe in this? How have I grown in my life? And see, here's the really, really huge, powerful thing about journaling is that what I love to do, I have like 6 journals that are filled from beginning to end. And every now and then I'll go back and I'll read where I was 6 months ago. And it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible, the progress that we all make. So if we don't write it down, we won't remember. And I think it's so important that we have something tangible to look at and see our progress and be like, oh my gosh, I remember back then I was dying. I thought I was never gonna feel better. And now I'm thriving. Now I have my own home. I am making good money. where before I was scared to be on my own, I didn't believe in myself. I never thought that I could own my own home without either a parent or like a guy. I've always had someone. I never had to do anything really on my own. So that's a little bit of what I think after being divorced for almost 3 years. And I don't really go around saying like I'm divorced. I'm just using that label here to just share my experience. If I have to label myself, I'm single, but that doesn't mean that I'm available. I hope you got something out of this video, and I'm sending you so much love and so much healing your way, for you to find your answers, for you to find your healing. And if you're watching this video, I know that that's the journey that you're on, and know that it does get better. If you have any questions for me, like I said, I feel like I can sit here and have coffee with you all day long and answer any of your questions, what I've gone through after almost 3 years, and how I've been able to overcome and finally reach a place of peace and healing, and I'm whole and I feel great, and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful, and it's just amazing. It's amazing the progress that we can make in life when we choose to focus on that and dedicate our lives to healing and loving ourselves. All right, guys, again, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and also come say hello to me on Instagram. That's the platform that I'm most active. And yeah, just let me know how you found me. I'd love to hear from you. Bye.